my favorite supersets, especially for general population, is a strength move with a mobility move. I actually don't even do many supersets with strength and strength. More of it's strength, mobility, strength, mobility, strength, mobility. And I literally just got, I'll actually read you, see if I can find the screenshot really quick. Someone in the inner circle posted during the live call the other day. Okay, perfect. This woman, Meredith, I was doing the Inner Circle Live, and she wrote, I just did the lower body day from the June program, a tad bit behind. And it's amazing that you work in the mobility moves into the workout. When I first did that lower body day, I was like, why is this necessary? I want to lift, LOL. But today my inner thigh was sore on the deadlift. And then I did the mobility exercise, partnered with it, and it stretched it out immediately and it felt better. Programming is genius. So it's like, especially for general population people who do not get enough mobility in, they're sitting down a lot of the time. I think having those paired together is so important because a lot of them are not going to warm up properly. They're not going to go through an extensive 7, 10, 15-minute warm up. They're not going to stretch on their own. So rather than just sitting there texting on their phone in between sets, I just have them do mobility exercise.
It's really smart for the reason you just mentioned. And I've tested this with various clients, which is loading up a warm up with mobility work or having a slightly more brief warm up and then putting some of the most important mobility work supersetted in. One of the other big benefits of doing that is when you are pairing two strength exercises, even so when you're benching, your chest, your shoulders, your triceps are all fatigued. And then you get this rest time and then you bench again. If you're doing a bent over row, even though you're in between, if you're supersetting those two, even though you're not fatiguing your chest, shoulders, and triceps on the bent over row, there's still systemic fatigue that is going to hinder performance on the bench. For example, if you're taking 5 reps of bench close to failure, and then you take a 3-minute rest, and then you take 5 reps again close to failure, you're going to perform better than if you do the 5 reps, and then during your 3-minute window, you also hit a heavy set of bent over row as part of that 3-minute rest, and then you go back to bench because there's total body fatigue to simplify what's going on. When you are hitting a mobility move instead of 2 strength moves, you're not fatiguing yourself at all. And so during that 3 minutes where you would be, even if you're doing something somewhat productive, walking, going to get a drink, like thinking about your next set, it's still more productive to get some mobility work in because you're not hindering your working set at all.
Yeah, completely agree. It just feels really good, man. I used to do more strength supersets, especially when I was younger. I would do it a lot, and I would do it for my clients, and I still have them occasionally in the inner circle. I've just found that going back to what we were talking about earlier, it's like it's that fatigue, and not even necessarily like physiological as much as sometimes psychological, where it's just like it can be really difficult to bring the intensity that you want to bring, especially when your heart rate's already elevated, you're already fatigued, you're already tired, and then to like hype yourself up for another heavy exercise, even if it's an opposing muscle group, can be very, very difficult.
Yeah, that's certainly true. And over the years, something I've done is increase the rest time. If I have a client who's hitting 2 compound moves supersetted early in the workout, have at least 90 seconds between each, if not 2 minutes between each exercise, which means you're going to be getting 3 to 5 minutes like between the same exercise. And yeah, more supersets of single joint movements later in the workout to get it in. Something that I like, I mean, there's a convenience aspect to supersetting, right? So if you think of a pec deck and a reverse pec deck, you're already sitting there like, it's single joint, higher rep range, like spin it around, getting both chest and rear delts in. There's also something to be said, and this is more art than science, but on something like any kind of row variation supersetted with any kind of bench variation, I like having a little bit of a back pump from the row for my bench, because that helps with the mind muscle of like making sure my shoulder blades are in the right place. It just feels better to have my back more activated when I'm benching. So that's a combination that I like. Bicep tricep is a classic. Any kind of like, if you're already over by the cables, and this is something that needs to be thought of, especially with online coaching when you're not with a client in the gym. If you have someone in a commercial gym and you're having them do a barbell bench press and then, I don't know, go over and do a pull up, and those are on the opposite side of the gym. Like for some people it can work. Maybe they're training in the middle of the day. Maybe they have a home gym. Great. But often it doesn't. It's just too inconvenient. And so you can make a note like, if this doesn't necessarily work, breaking these up into straight sets works great. But thinking about the layout of the gym and coming at it from a logistical perspective, if you're going to be supersetting any exercises, is definitely something to think about.